We've traveled 20 kilometers south of Lexington to Natural Bridge State Park. This natural wonder is the namesake of Rockbridge County. Let's meet up with Matthew Jackson and get a tour of the park.
So one thing I always tell folks about the bridge, it's sort of an issue of scale. You can see all the pictures in the world, but nothing really makes sense till you get down here and see it yourself. So Natural Bridge is part of the Beekmantown Formation, which is a colossal piece of limestone that was formed in the Ordovician era around 500 million years ago. So all of this at one point was actually underwater. It was a shallow tropical sea that, as that sand and sediment got compressed, formed this solid piece of limestone. Now, the prevailing theory is that this is a case of stream piracy, which means at one point the creek flowed somewhere else, but eventually worked its way through the stone to create a long, straight cavern that went to the James River. Eventually, that cavern became big enough that the ceiling started to erode until it got to just its narrowest point remaining standing, which we now call the Natural Bridge. So besides the geology of Natural Bridge, there's some interesting human history as well. Famously, it's been rumored that George Washington actually came down here and surveyed the bridge as a young man, leaving his initials carved into the rock. There is a set of GW initials carved over there across the creek, but it's going to be really hard for us to verify that, even though it's been a story for a lot of years. In addition to George Washington, this has been a ceremonial site for the Monaca Nation for years and years, and continues to be that to this day. One of the more famous owners of the bridge was actually Thomas Jefferson, who purchased it in 1774, but was unfortunately had to be sold by his heirs to settle his estates. A good president, great philosopher, not always the best with his money. One of the most important people at Natural Bridge is actually a man named Patrick Henry, who was the caretaker of Natural Bridge when Thomas Jefferson owned it. Patrick Henry was an African-American man who was born into slavery in Westmoreland County and was forced to purchase his freedom when his owner did not honor his deed of manumission upon his death. He moved down here to be with his family after purchasing his freedom at the age of 24, and eventually approached Jefferson to pay the delinquent taxes on Natural Bridge and farm all the arable land on top of the bridge to take care of it. So we affectionately refer to Patrick Henry as our first park ranger, doing a lot of the things you would expect of us today, taking care of the resource and showing guests around as well, including Thomas Jefferson and his granddaughters on a visit closer to the end of his life. So this is our children's discovery area, including our new Skyline Trail. Included as part of this whole area, we have this is the trailhead for the Skyline Trail, including these really excellent activities you can take with you, sort of an experiential learning opportunity as you walk along the trail. So this trail is just a little bit more than 2 miles. It actually loops around to come back to our children's Nature Explorer Discovery area, which is a little bit up the hill from here, which includes a lot of really interesting stations built around a natural learning experience and a good place to get outside and have some fun. So right now we're on Jefferson Point, which is part of our Skyline Trail system and one of the best places in the park to stargaze. We were recently certified as an international dark sky park, which is important for a number of reasons. One of those reasons is purely recreation. A lot of folks know about stargazing, but maybe have never tried it, and even fewer folks have a good place to go to do it. So being a dark sky resource means that if you've never stargazed before, or you need another place to do it, we've got pristine dark skies that you can come here and enjoy. Now this is a great location for that because of its big unobstructed horizon lines.